So, hey, so me and my friend Nick here in the party. Say hi.
Oh.
We just came up with probably the best possible villain idea for Metal Gear Rising 2. Just casually, because I was in here playing MGS5 here, and I was listening to this tape recorder of Huey Emmerich, that bastard that sold out to, everybody in that Peace Walker game. Well, anyways, dude, he's talking about genetic cloning, right? And then it kind of just made the cogs in my head turn a little bit. Just wait a minute. He's talking about cloning, and cloning Snake, and then, I was talking here with Nick about it, just, well, unbeknownst to him, that's what they already did. Then, it kind of just thought occurred to me. What if, during the time that Venom, this guy right here on my screen, this horn-headed little shit right here, what if, because of just how much of a badass this guy is, I mean, seriously, if you think about it, even though he's not an actual genetically Snake, he definitely earned his place in the whole warrior gene pool thing that this series goes for. So, in saying that, and with the fact that, Naked Snake, the boss, that, the original Snake, from 3, just making all that stuff, saying that, he didn't take, genetic samples of him is kind of stupid. Because he himself, I'm pretty sure, is the one who actually ordered the creation of Solid Snake and that one Solidus Snake, and their whole rivalry to start in those other games, to actually start because of him, and he ordered the whole thing with the genetics and them cloning and everything. So what if, here's where it gets fun. What if Big Boss secretly ordered a genetic lab to just continue genetic testing and whatnot to be opened, and it is somewhere far off, way from the mother base in South Africa that Solid blows up in the original game whenever he kills Venom here. What if they have Venom and Boss's genome, and they're just some of the last survivors of Outer Haven? Now, considering how dogmatically loyal all the PMC, all the troopers are to Big Boss, and his idealisms are of a country without nation borders, or a nation without borders and all that stuff, and basically becoming a militant nation. What if they continued their research, and with the Boss's genetic code and Venom's genetic code, they created a hybrid just an ultimate snake, just an ultra snake. Yeah. And with that, and with all of the modern stuff from Metal Gear Rising, they also gave him enhancements through nanomachines and cybernetic enhancements. On top of that, they trained and raised him from birth with all this genetic hardening to all the warrior genes from both Venom and fucking Big Boss himself. So it could just be a hybrid of just this big, scary motherfucker. Oh yeah, and top it all off, let's throw in some of that whole Ocelot brainwashing stuff in there as well. You got a concoction for one scary motherfucker. And with that, you got the whole idealism that Big Boss has of the whole War Without Nation being instilled with them by these Outer Haven survivors. And whenever, by the time 2018 rolls around, he would be, when did, it fell in 95, right? That original base?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually perfect in the time frame as well, because 2018 is when Rising takes place, and Raiden goes through his whole self-discovery journey through copious amount of murder and Gatorade spine eating. Dude, it would be a perfect time frame, because in that time they had to spend time to rebuild, which would probably take around, at least 5 years, 7 years, maybe a decade at most, and establishing themselves a little bit more in the shadows in their little secret base. Then they spent the time actually cloning them, and then they make this new Ultra Snake. Alright? And with this, they make that big scary motherfucker, and it would be like the embodiment of everything that Raiden and Rising goes against. Because in Raiden and Rising, he comes to this hybrid realization or philosophy of both Armstrong's ideals and his own. And he basically just wants peace throughout the world and no more private military companies and none of that shit anymore. And he's trying to fight for peace now. And he goes on this secret, silent, bloody crusade, it's implied, at the end of that game. Now, this Ultra Snake would be the ultimate antithesis to that. It would just... He would embody everything that the original Big Boss would want, and then some. He would be the most ultimate fucking warrior ever concocted on the fucking planet. And it would be one last fight between the ideals, between Solid Snake and the Big Boss himself. One last fight from their descendants, pretty much. And it would even kind of tie in back to the whole Liquid versus Solid thing. Because, you know, Liquid, he was a fucking clone who hated himself because he was just a clone from the tube and he just wanted the genes and that, you know, all that arc. It could even tie into that a bit. And at the end of it, it would just be this ultimate fucking battle of sheer goddamn will. Just the predecessor, the successor to Solid Snake, Raiden, versus this concocted lab super Ultra Snake from Venom and Big Boss's genomes with cybernetic and nanomachine enhancements and fucking Ocelot style brainwashing to give him maybe even versions of the Big Boss's memories. You know, just memories of him whenever he you know, was building Outer Heaven and his ideals. You know, just super brainwashed, super brought up to be this ultra killing machine. And he's out there in the world, whereas Raiden's trying to make peace, he's actively coming out of the shadows and uniting the PMCs into another fucking rogue nation. This time worse. Just so much worse, because this guy is genetically bred for it on every conceivable way by two of some of the most elite warriors that have ever been seen on the planet, Venom and the Naked Snake himself. And also, Nick came up with this. You want to tell him about the whole body double thing? Yeah, you've been quiet the whole time.
Yeah, so the idea that came to mind was, basically, towards the middle of the game, you know, this hypothetical Rising 2, you fight a body double, like a makeup sort of body double of this Venom and Big Boss hybrid, and you think it's him, you think it's the end of the game because the game does everything it can to convince you, and once you beat him, you then realize it was just a body double, and later on down the road when the actual real fight happens, the difficulty is the highest in video game history, and the fight ends up being like super long, pretty much too. But the build up to it just kind of like, you know, just making sense in a way.
Yeah, just think something like Senator Armstrong meets the End from Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah.
Plus, you know, all of Snake's abilities. Some crazy shit like that would be absolutely insane. And this body double, I then kind of add on, could actually just be a straight up original cloning of Venom. Whenever they were originally trying to prototype making clones and whatnot, they were trying to make one of the snakes. They ended up just making another clone of Venom. So it would be a cloned Venom snake. So yeah, his torture just doesn't fucking stop at all again. And you end up fighting an actual cloned Venom snake, which would be reminiscent of the original Metal Gear game. And overall, the potential for something like this is astronomical. If done correctly, if written correctly, holy fucking shit, we could have the best video game, or one of the best video games ever written in history on our hands with such a plot like this. With years of build-up, immediately brought to a head with one last hurrah between these two ideologies, and the legacies of both Big Boss and Solid, and their entire embodiments of between peace and war, with Raiden and this Ultra Snake, this hypothetical villain. coming to a head in one last final duel for the fates of the Metal Gear universe. That would be fucking awesome. Anyways, that's just the thing that me and him were talking about. I legitimately, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, Nick, for not, kind of just making you fucking. I gotta get this out there, man. I legitimately, this is too good to not share. That's too damn good. I mean, we have some cool ideas, but I need to get this into psychospace. You have no fucking clue how much I need this. Anyway, that's it. I'm just gonna cut it there. That's all. Tell us what you think out in the comments and whatnot. Shit, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
Nope.
All right.
Empty mind at the moment.
Pigeon brain moment.
Pigeon brain? Yeah.
Oh man. They won't get that. They won't get that inside joke.
Venom smashes the mirror. Like before he looks at himself in the mirror, he notices that he's Demon Snake, and he smashes it. Then his big boss, while it's weird, like the whole mirror scene explains it. Maybe because Demon Snake isn't canon. Maybe this would be Demon Snake. Because when Venom commits enough just moral atrocities, he becomes permanently bloodied. His horn is fucking 6 inches long. He's just ridiculous.
Oh,
right?
yeah. He would have, he would have basically just this merged personality between Big Boss and just this demon Venom Snake. That fucking version of him. Yeah. I just got into the game, by the way. I'm just gonna trim it from here. Fuck it. Yeah, I'm adding this one. I'm just for people watching YouTube. I'm adding this one last little bit here at the end of us, because we also came to this fucking realization when talking about this after the fact. There's this whole subplot, and it was part 2, was it? Yeah, where it was just Liquid and Solid, where they're fighting each other, and Liquid actually has the better genes, but he thinks that he doesn't have the better genes, so he doesn't believe in himself. Therefore, he's restricted, whereas, Solid, he's actually the inferior quote-unquote clone, but because, he's actually able to overcome his genes and, become more of a person and not focus on it and just allow that to debilitate him in his head, he's actually able to become the better soldier. Yeah, I just want to emphasize, this Ultra Snake idea, he will not have that fucking problem. He will be a hybrid of the most best fucking soldier on the planet, along with his body double, who is able to keep up with him and go toe-to-toe with Metal Gear in of itself. With brainwashing and dogmatized raising and nanomachines and fucking cybernetic enhancements and the genes of just a couple of the most badass motherfuckers to ever walk the planet. And he just will not have some weird insecurity or whatever the fuck. He will be bred for one thing, and that is to create outer heaven and to eventually make the rest of the world succumb to his rule and heal for what they did to him. Especially the U.S., considering that, the United States are the ones that sent Solid to destroy Outer Heaven. But, I mean, that in itself is just a whole convoluted mess, and we're not going to get into that. But, yeah, that is actually a good idea of this Ultra Snake being a type of Demon Snake-esque type of character, where he has, but, he's just a mix between that fucking psychopath version of Venom and... yeah, because, whenever Venom does do that, come to think of it, that could be the main thing that drives him to the connection of Venom Snake. Just the fucking insane sociopathic tendency shit that he has. That whenever he just goes full into it, into the whole murder, kill mode, he just becomes that damn demon. To have those traits that makes him the scariest motherfucker to ever walk the earth, along with the boss's genetics that were also enhanced like Liquid and fucking Solid's thing. It's all while being perfectly nurtured and raised and brainwashed in a mix of just pure mental fortitude that was what Liquid's weakness was. He just will have just a scary motherfucker. Just want to emphasize that point. Just of how goddamn awesome it would be to have that as the final story and villain of the Metal Gear franchise. And maybe even have some alternate ending where if you actually lose to him as Raiden, he wins. Just straight up, if that's the end of the entire storyline, just that's it. Just boom, just one or the other. Those are your two endings.
Yeah.
Just Mortal Kombat 11 style. That's
Pretty
good.
much.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. And save.